Good evening, Facebook, as well as our YouTube page at WBBJ. We're going to be giving updates about every 15 minutes with the storm situation until we're live for tornado warning coverage, which could be a little bit longer still because the first couple tornado warnings may stay just to the northwest of our viewing area. We have a confirmed tornado, southern Illinois, 2 tornado warnings, one in the Boot Hill, one about to go into the Boot Hill, which will be moving into Lake and Obion County. Again, not all of the counties in West Tennessee are counties that we cover on television here at WBBJ. You need to understand we deal with other markets. We've got Paducah TV market, we've got Memphis market, we've got markets down into Alabama. So when our counties go under tornado warnings, we'll break in live on TV. But when the storms are close, like they are right now, we're going to give you these updates on Facebook and on YouTube in the meantime, because I know there are still people that watch us in some of our main counties that aren't designated for West Tennessee WBBJ television. So we're going to do our best to give you as much information as we can when we're dealing with events like this. Look at these supercells lining up. We've got a confirmed tornado southeast of Cape Girardeau, a supercell here, here, and here. Now these two are just producing very large hail right now. No reports of a tornado currently, but they could spin one up at any minute because this one popped up very quick. This wasn't even a severe thunderstorm warning, and then they issued the severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning, and confirmed tornado. That all happened in about a 10-minute period with that storm up to the north. So our storms right now, very large hail maker near Elk. If we kind of look at the rotation, very minimal. We like that. We don't like the hail, obviously, that's associated with it, but not enough rotation for a confirmed tornado. We're also watching a little bit of rotation near Cotton Hill, and our southern tornado warning down here. It's kind of right in the middle of the radar viewing. This is what we call range folding. They're trying to take a closer look at it. Right now, to me, I think it's just a hail maker. A big hail, though, but they are both tornado warned because they are rotating, and although they may not be producing a tornado right now, they definitely could produce one here very soon. So 35 miles away pretty much from when that'll be moving into Lake County. So that puts it a little after 7 o'clock, maybe the core of that storm moving in close to around 7:15, moving into the Tiptonville area. So we've got multiple rotating storms. So although these two are the warned ones, these ones have not earned a tornado warning yet. They probably will. And the ones further south that are developing in this area are ones that are more likely going to impact places like maybe Gibson County, Madison County later, Crockett County, maybe Carroll County. So we're going to continue to watch these. Remember, we had all those storms back a couple Fridays ago that did the same thing, and they kept racing off to the northwest. Could that happen? Yes, but I think it's less likely that's going to be the case. As you notice, we're still seeing some development down south. I think these are at least going to impact places into Dyer County, Gibson County, and probably Weakley County, maybe around 9 o'clock or so. So again, we've got our tornado watch. We're going to have some sort of watch issued for Jackson eastward. It's either going to be a tornado watch or a severe thunderstorm watch. I think that's going to come out within the next hour or two, because once you get east of Jackson, it's looking like it's probably going to be more of a wind concern than a hail or tornado concern. I'm going to show you that here right now. So the enhanced risk of level 3 does include all of us here in West Tennessee, but the damaging wind threat is highest east of Jackson. Here's where we're expecting those individual storms to come together, form what we call a squall line when it around after 10 o'clock when it begins to move east of Jackson. That damaging wind threat goes all the way up into southern Michigan. Now, we are also under that 10% tornado risk. That's for all of West Tennessee. So that's because we could have supercell thunderstorms off to the west. We could have QLCS, those tornadoes that we talk about that spin up in a line. Those could be east of Jackson. So east of Jackson, we've got the QLCS threat. West of Jackson, we've got the supercell thunderstorm tornado threat. And you notice the main concern for hail is going to be associated with those supercells, and that's pretty much west of Madison County. Here's where we got a chance for that gorilla hail. Hail bigger than golf ball size is looking possible with some of those supercells tonight. So here's a look at the timing. 7, 8 o'clock, moving on in up to the north. 9 to 10, moving through Gibson County. 10 to 11, moving through Madison County. And then still continuing until 1 a.m. down into Hardin County. So we may not be wrapping this up until around 2 a.m. But we're going to have another update here at 30 minutes after the hour. We're going to, if we're not live on TV for tornado warnings, continue to join us here just about every 15 minutes. 6:30, 6:45, 7 o'clock, 7:15, 7:30. We're probably going to be live covering tornado warnings by then. But keep it here on our Facebook Live as well as our YouTube channel, WBBJ. Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes at 6:30, just with an update on our Facebook and YouTube platforms. We're going to try to give these updates every 15 minutes until we're live on TV covering tornado warnings, which is probably going to be pretty soon. There are 4 tornado warnings lined up just to the west of us tonight. Kind of deja vu from what we saw a couple of Fridays ago, but I'm thinking there's a better chance these storms do hold together as they move into West Tennessee tonight. It's earlier. Remember, it was a couple hours later when these storms were lining up the other Friday, and that allowed some changes in the overall atmosphere to push some of these storms to the northwest and have them weaken some. But they're going to stay strong as they cross the Mississippi here within the next hour. Tornado watch is out for all of our western counties. Jackson, we're going to be put under some sort of a watch. It's either going to be a tornado watch or a severe thunderstorm watch in our eastern counties. The reason it may not be a tornado watch, because we're looking at straight line winds being the main concern as this storm line, as these individual cells turn into more of a line as they cross east of Jackson. But there still could be spin up tornadoes along that line as well. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be a tornado watch instead of a severe thunderstorm watch, but we'll see where they go with that. All right, we've got 3 different tornado warnings close to us. There's a 4th one sitting up here to the north. And look at this one piling up now west of Lynn, heading into Jonesboro. That's a massive storm. Brand new tornado warning issued for Jonesboro for that one. Look how fast it went up as it was south of Mountain Range and then just kind of exploded over the last few minutes. But let's start with our northern storm. This one is going to stay just north of Lake County. It did have a confirmed tornado a little over an hour ago. A little bit of rotation there. Looks like as it heads into Matthews. Now this one is going to move into West Tennessee. It's beginning to approach the Mississippi River right now. I'm not really seeing a lot of rotation. Looks like we lost a radar image there with that one. But it is producing some hail. Doesn't look as organized to produce a tornado right now, but see that little inflow notch? So any one of these can spin up pretty quickly. So this is out till 7 p.m., but we'll see. It's about 30 miles away from Tiptonville, so you're going to want to watch that very closely in Tiptonville. If you're in Lake County or Bryan County, you're watching us, if you can get your car in the garage or get it under cover, you definitely want to do that if you're in our western counties, and then be prepared to head to your safe spot if a tornado is detected with any of these supercell thunderstorms. But they're all producing some really large hail, including this brand new one here south of Lynn. This is the one heading into Jonesboro. The rotation's really broad right now with this, so it doesn't look like there's a tornado on the ground, but this is a massive storm, and if it does produce a tornado, it could be a pretty strong one as it moves off to the east. And you notice if it continues that same direction that it's moving right now, as it's almost turned to the right a little bit, that's going to put it very close to Jackson, maybe close to around 10 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock into the Haywood County area, maybe 8 o'clock moving into Lauderdale County. So it looks like this one could be also very close to Dyersburg as it moves on through. So again, we're giving you time to prepare for these storms. They're on the way. The good news about these type of storms, supercells, you can track them, you can get a long warning. The bad news is they often produce very dangerous conditions, including tornadoes, extremely large hail, and some very intense winds. So we're going to continue to watch this line as it gets a little closer, these line of storms. Now that tornado watch again remains in effect till 10 o'clock, and then after 10, southeast of Jackson, we could be dealing with 70 up to 80 mile-an-hour winds as this cluster of thunderstorms becomes more of what we call a linear line of storms. We're under a level 3. The main concern in West Tennessee is for hail if you're west of Jackson, and tornadoes and damaging winds and tornadoes if you're east of Jackson. So that kind of slices our viewing area right in half. So here's the main wind threat. The tornado threat is equal because, again, we could have supercell tornado thunderstorms out west, QLCS, those tornadoes that spin up along a line out to the east. And we could have one of either one, I think, if you're right in Jackson, because you notice how we were kind of cut right in the middle from that wind and that hail threat. So the main concern for hail sitting to the west of us in Madison County. That's those supercells that we're seeing developing right now. So here's a closer look at the timing. It shows around 9 o'clock. This may be a little late on the line approaching Alamo. Could be a little earlier in Trenton and Alamo. Could be a little earlier than 11 in Jackson. Sometime between 10 and 11 coming through Jackson, continuing to move south of Henderson, Selmer, Savannah by 1 a.m. before it clears out closer to around 3 a.m. All right, we're going to continue to track all these storms. We'll have another update here in about 10 minutes on our Facebook Live as well as our YouTube platform where you can actually hear us. What you see on our Facebook Live when we're not hearing my voice is just us kind of looking at things, building graphics, trying to get ready for our next hit. And if you see me on TV, that means we've got a tornado warning in our area. But we'll stay live on our Facebook and YouTube platforms for that as well. But our main coverage will be on TV.
Welcome in, West Tennessee, folks. We're still under a level 3 enhanced risk for this evening. 10% chance that we're under a tornado warning at any given time tonight is what you can assume that means. Large hailstones. Hailstones in Arkansas have been reported up to baseball size. That's 2.5 inches. And winds could get as strong as 80 miles per hour, if not stronger. Now here's a look at some of the storms around the region. This is a tornado warned storm in Clay County, Arkansas, moving into the boot heel of Missouri. We've got a track on it. But first, it's near the edge of the range of the Memphis radar, so it's tough to get a scan on the rotation on that storm. But here's that track for you. For our West Tennessee counties: Blue Bank at 7:20, that's Reelfoot Lake State Park. Troy at 7:36 in Obion County, Reeves 7:43, Mount Pelia on the border between Obion and Weakley County at 7:49, and then at 7:54, right before 8 o'clock, this is going to be moving into Martin. So UT Martin, you need to keep a close eye on this storm in Clay County. The other storm we're keeping a sharp eye on is about to move into Jonesboro, Arkansas. This is Craighead and Greene County under this warning. Has a gnarly hail signature. This particular storm is the one that has been flagged with the biggest hail so far. And so here's a look at that track. On its current track would make it into Halls at 8 o'clock, Chestnut Bluff at 8:05, Coxville at 8:20, and Humboldt in Gibson County at 8:25. This storm on its own moving east at 70 miles per hour. The rest of the line is moving closer to 55, maybe even as slow as 40 miles per hour. But we're going to give you a look at the wind speeds. Again, they're still out of the south, right around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Cold front's getting closer. The winds are going to pick up a little bit, but here's a look at the dew points. Again, very humid air, plenty of moisture present for these storms to tap into. And here's a look at the futurecast. We got a new run, and it's picking up on some pretty big hail signatures. These whites you see on this run that's big hail, or at the very least, extremely heavy rain in some places. But by 9:30, 10 o'clock, looking to roll into Madison County, maybe as far south as the Hardeman County line with Haywood County. But again, we're going to keep an eye on this. This line is going to be here a while. We're looking at another push in intensity as it crosses south of I-40 after 10 o'clock tonight. But then we're looking at it rolling into Savannah closer to midnight to 1 o'clock. This line could stay through West Tennessee. If it slows down at all, could be here through the 3 a.m. hour. So it's a very long night on tap for us here in West Tennessee. Of course, we've got Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes in the building with me here, giving you updates every 15 minutes or every 30 minutes on air here very shortly. I'm meteorologist Jordan Hubbard. Stay tuned, folks. We've got you covered.
Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here, just with an update on our Facebook as well as our YouTube live channel. We're going to be live on ABC coming up here in about 5 minutes or so. On TV, that's when we're going to start our cut-ins on TV about every 30 minutes until these tornado warnings do move into West Tennessee. If they do, I still think they probably will. We're under that tornado watch till 11 p.m. We're still waiting to hear from the Storm Prediction Center if they're going to issue a tornado watch or a severe thunderstorm watch for the rest of our eastern counties. I think we'll know that here within the next 30-45 minutes. We do have tornadoes warnings still lined up, but you notice these individual supercells starting to conglomerate into a line. This is good. We want them to become a line. That's less likely for tornadoes, less likely for really large hail, but it does mean that we'll most likely be seeing a gusty wind threat. So we want to see these continue to come together, because any of the time when these are out on their own, that's when they're rotating and a better chance of producing a tornado. Up north here, this one's staying just north of West Tennessee. That's looks like some rotation still near East Prairie. We've got multiple little areas of rotation with each one of these little individual storms, but within the last 20 minutes, a lot of the rotation has ended besides that southern one near Jonesboro, and we're starting to see this turning into more of a straight line wind concern. I hope this pattern continues for us as the line gets closer, but there still will be some individual chances for some rotation, at least in the next couple of hours. Still some very large hail just to the west of us, but this is pretty straight line windy to me. Down south, this is not good. That's probably going to have a tornado near Bono. That's very close to Jonesboro. You notice that as it tracks now, it could be moving into Jonesboro, so that could be a big problem for them. It's also producing up to tennis ball size hail with that storm, and it's about an hour and a half away, that core, from moving over into West Tennessee, and it's moving about 40 to 50 miles an hour, so that's probably around 8:15, 8:30. We're going to see this one. This one's probably 9 o'clock before it moves in, 8:30, 8 o'clock. So we're looking at 8, maybe Dyersburg, 8:30, 9, and then if, again, this turns into a line, that may it may pick up a little bit of speed, but it's less likely to produce tornadoes. So here's a look at the timing as it moves off to the east. We'll have another full update here coming up at 7:15, and we'll be on ABC coming up on TV here in a few minutes. Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here just with an update. Multiple tornado warnings continue to fire up to the west of us tonight. These tornado warnings are eventually going to turn into severe thunderstorm warnings as these individual supercell storms begin to form into a line. That's going to happen as they do begin to move into West Tennessee. That doesn't mean we won't get some tornado warnings. It just means that I think the main concern for supercells is going to be wrapping up here over the next hour about the time this line does move into our area. But you notice there are still 5 tornado warnings lined up. You notice all those little individual supercells are beginning to conglomerate into a line. That's good news. Bad news is we're still looking at some really strong winds as this line comes on by tonight, and there still could be spin up tornadoes along the line. Just usually don't get long track tornadoes when you're dealing with ones that do develop along a line. But very large hail tonight, up to baseball size. Up north, we still got a tornado warning sitting to the north of us, but here's those 3 rotating supercells down south. I think the most dangerous storm is heading into Jonesboro right now, but it's beginning to be caught up by that southern storm, which is kind of stealing some of its rotation. We do have a large hail still tonight, west of 55. We've got some hail in and around Knob, but these hail returns are much lower than they were about an hour ago. You notice this is pretty much straight line winds that I see here towards the back half of that tornado warning. Here's the most dangerous storm. It's just to the northwest of Jonesboro, but even it's starting to lose some of its bright colors. It's still dangerous right now, but it's beginning to be caught up from that storm down to the south of it. There's our largest hail. They're near Swifton. That is probably up to tennis ball size. Now, if you look at the general timing, we're 45 minutes, 55 minutes, or 45, 55, 65 miles. These are moving about 40 miles an hour. That puts this northern storm around 8 o'clock close to Dyersburg, 9 down south, and maybe even 10 before these storms do show up into the Jackson area. There's a general look at timing of when you can expect this line. We'll continue to have updates here throughout the night on WBBJ and also on our Facebook.
It isn't in?
Well, you're going to be in standby.
Okay. Welcome in, West Tennessee. Take Max 2 for me, please, in the back. We've got a tornado watch out until 11 o'clock tonight. It includes the western half of West Tennessee. We haven't heard anything about an extension into the eastern half of West Tennessee yet. We're waiting to hear from Memphis and the Storm Prediction Center before anything happens there. But we're still waiting on storms to cross the Mississippi River. We still have the enhanced risk out for severe weather. Again, 10% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of your location. So that's not a high chance, but a chance nonetheless. That is a significant chance. Hail up to baseball size. It's 2.5 inches. Every cell that has gone up in Arkansas, which fortunately they're starting to form into a line, which is going to knock down the tornado and hail threat, but it's really going to crank up the straight line wind threat, which, by the way, is up to 80 miles per hour. We could see even locally higher places. But here's a look at some of these tracks. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning into Dunklin, Clay, Craighead, and Greene County. Greene County is in Arkansas, but that extends all the way to the Mississippi River, and that is in effect until 7:45. We're probably not going to see any sort of warnings east of the Mississippi until about 8 o'clock. At least that's what we're expecting. But the strongest part of that storm, which has a history of rotation, but again, now that it's lining up, may not, will make its way into Dyer County eventually by around 8:30. It'll be moving into Bogota, 8:43 New Bern, 8:52 Mason Hall in Gibson County, and then 9:03 for Dyer and 9:16 in Greenfield in Weakley County. Now we've got another storm. It's a little bit stronger. This was the latest discrete supercell to get absorbed into the line. It's looking less and less impressive, but again, here's the track on that chunk of the line. It's still tornado warned until 7:45. That's for Craighead and Greene County, Arkansas. But here's a look at the track for that. Of course, it's not going to cross the Mississippi River until right around 8:50, but at that point, it'll move into Ripley and Lauderdale County at 8:55, Murray City and Crockett County by 9:21. Then 9:30, it's going to make its way into Alamo, 9:47 for Humboldt, and just before 10 o'clock, will make its way into Medina. Now, we're going to take a zoom out, and this graph right here, this is our current instability. You see it's very dark orange. Air is very unstable in West Tennessee today. Again, we have all the ingredients for some extreme storms. Fortunately, the discrete cells starting to merge into a line, which is really going to help the threat for tornadoes and hail. Unfortunately, it's going to really ramp up any kind of straight line winds. Right now, winds mostly on the milder side. We're looking at out of the south right around 7 to 10 miles per hour, but dew point still very high. 64 is where usually that's the baseline. It's come down a couple degrees over the last hour or so, but again, now the sun's starting to set, so we're going to start to see that low-level jet ramp up. That's going to bring in some of those nocturnal winds. And here's a look at the latest futurecast. Again, it's going to be moving through. It's going to be around West Tennessee through about the 2 to 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. But we've got Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes, myself here, Mo Shamel will be joining us after midnight, and we'll have updates here throughout the evening right here on Facebook and YouTube. And we will be live with an update on ABC coming up at 8.
Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here, just with a live update around 7 o'clock for our Facebook and YouTube followers. We still do have a couple of tornado warnings, but some pretty good news as this cluster of supercell thunderstorms are beginning to form into a line. Now, that doesn't mean we're out of the blue. It just means tornadoes and large hail are becoming secondary threats, and it looks like straight line winds will be the main concern as this line comes by. Again, that doesn't mean you won't get a spin up tornado or two in the line. It just means that the supercell threat, though, is beginning to go away as all these storms are coming together. Still no word if we're going to get a severe thunderstorm or a tornado watch for areas Madison County eastward. I still think some sort of a watch is coming, but it's probably going to be a severe thunderstorm. Still could be a tornado. The reason I'm thinking it may become a severe thunderstorm is you notice all those little individual supercells that were coming through have now kind of formed into a line, which is good and bad. The good news is, again, tornado threat is usually lower in a line. Bad news is, though, you still could have 70, 80 mile an hour wind gusts. And the southern section, that's where we'll still be watching for a possible tornado. Usually on the southern area of these lines can sometimes spin up, but we got still a large hail maker near Arlington. That's just north of West Tennessee. Still a little bit of rotation there near Columbus. Now, the ones that are close to West Tennessee, we've got a possible tornado trying to spin up here, and then we've got what to me looks like just extremely straight line winds down near Jonesboro. But you notice a little bit of spin there near Portageville. That could possibly be a tornado, but it looks like it's going to stay north of Tiptonville if it does, and north of it looks like of the lake area there down near Sandburg, where I remember a few years back got hit with that tornado on the same day that Mayfield, Kentucky was hit. All right, so down here, this is looks like straight line winds to me. That's extending from Bragg City down through Clay, east of 412. This is the ugliest storm right now. You look at that, you go, whoa, look at those colors, right? That's got to be something big. Probably is, but just straight line winds. We're not seeing any sort of tornado signature, although it's still got a tornado warning on it. It looks like some real strong straight line winds. There is a potential spin up near Lakeview, so we'll watch this. This is still a ways away now east of Jonesboro, but it's also had what they set up to baseball size hail reported, and you can see those dark magenta colors there where the largest hail is. We've also got huge hail down near Waldenburg. So if you're wondering how close are these to West Tennessee, well, the northern storm is about 15 miles away. The middle storm from Jonesboro is about 35 miles away from the river, and the southern storm is about 40. These storms are moving about 40 miles an hour, so that puts them into West Tennessee during the 8 o'clock hour, closer to 8:30 the further south you go. Here's a look at the timing. Jackson, we're still thinking 9:30, 10 o'clock, but you notice as that line, if it continues to track to the east, dropping to the south, you got places like Dyersburg, Covington, Trenton, all in there. And if it is a line, that means almost everyone is going to be impacted instead of those little individual cells that we're developing. But if you notice the radar loop, look at all those supercells that were out in front, and now it's just coming into a line. So again, we like that. Usually means straight line winds if you get a line. Now we're still under that tornado watch that continues tonight. So we're still under a level 3. That enhanced risk of severe weather does include all of us here in West Tennessee. The wind threat is higher east of Jackson, and the hail and tornado threat is higher west of Jackson. That was just due to the chance for those supercells that we're developing. The tornado threat is equal because you can get tornadoes with supercells, but you can also get tornadoes along a line. They're just usually quicker and weaker, the tornadoes you get in a line, than the long track ones, the strong ones, the potential wedge tornadoes that often develop in a supercell. But the main hail threat is going to be west of Jackson for the next hour tonight. Then as, again, this line moves eastward, it's going to be most likely a wind threat. So here's a look at the timing. Coming through Jackson, 10, 11 o'clock. We'll go ahead and play this one for you again here on the timing. So it looks like by 9 o'clock, we'll be approaching Alamo, Trenton, and then by 10 o'clock, approaching Jackson. By 11 through Henderson, Lexington, and then Savannah, probably close to 1 a.m. So as this line comes by, expect gusty winds, 60, 70 miles an hour. We still can't rule out some hail or a spin-up tornado, so we're going to still watch things. We'll have another update here coming up in about 10 minutes, plus we'll have another one on ABC at TV at the top of the hour. And if we get any tornado warnings in our coverage counties, in the meantime, we'll break in and tell you all about those covered live on TV. But thanks for joining us right now on our Facebook Live and our WBBJ YouTube channel. Well, it's 7:45. Thanks for sticking around on our Facebook Live storm coverage as well as our YouTube page at WBBJ. We have one tornado warning left, and it's a confirmed tornado. Right now, though, there is an ugly line of thunderstorms, and we got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning right now that does include Dyersburg and Union City. So you notice that there's that new severe thunderstorm warning. It is for gusty winds 60 to 70 miles an hour. There still could be some pockets of hail mixing on in as well, but let's kind of take a radar tour here. You notice the ugliest storms are down south. That's pretty normal. When you get a cluster of thunderstorms, they form into a cluster of supercells. They eventually form into a line, and the one that tries to rotate the most is the southern storm. So that's the one we're going to be watching the closest there that could be coming into Covington. That's the one that does have the tornado on the ground right now. So there's some very strong winds that came through Jonesboro, and the back end of that cell there north of Cherry Valley is rotating. So up north here, again, we had some rotation earlier, but it all looks like pretty much straight line winds now with this northern line, which is beginning to move into Tiptonville, Hornbeak, Troy. It looks like it's about 30 minutes out from impacting you. There's still some hail, isolated hail clusters like this one here, right along 55, still just a couple of miles west of the Mississippi. But this is all straight line winds. That doesn't mean we won't get a quick spin up tornado along this line, but our main concern for rotation was the further south we get going with these systems. So this is very strong winds that just came through the Jonesboro area, but not seeing any rotation, maybe a little bit here near Leachville. But look at all this hail associated with this cluster. They've had reports of up to baseball-sized hail with this storm, which is now east of Jonesboro. So here's our tornado warn storm. That is very large hail, at least tennis ball with some of these darker colors there. Plus, it also had spawned a tornado right into this area. I know it doesn't look super great on the radar, but we're a ways away from the radar, and the radar is shooting through all kinds of storms to get there. So, but there's a storm spotter on it confirming that tornado southwest of Harrisburg. So that tornado is warned now till 8:30. You'll notice it does not include anywhere here in West Tennessee, but if it continues the same path and it stays strong, which it probably won't an hour and a half out, but we'll see, that puts it about 2.25 hours out from Jackson. So around 10 o'clock that we've been saying the last couple of days, 10 o'clock would be the time frame most concerned in Jackson. Could be about an hour earlier if you're over into, let's say, Dyersburg, or if you're into Gibson County, it's probably going to be 9:30. But these two southern ones, these are our most dangerous storms that we're watching. So if we track out this entire line, kind of gives you an idea of when it'll be coming on through. So we've got that line coming into Jackson sometime around 9:45 to 10 o'clock. Maybe when some of the worst of it comes on through. So here's a big picture. We had a bunch of supercells earlier. Now they've kind of turned into a line. We've got a rogue storm, though, northeast of Little Rock. So again, this southern area is where we need to watch for some rotation. Anything up north here looks like it's going to be a linear line. So I don't think you're going to see much of a tornado threat if you're into Lake right now, Dyer, Obion County, Weakley County. This is probably all going to be straight line winds as it comes through for you, but we need to start watching things pretty closely here in Madison County, maybe Gibson County, but again, it's the southern section of this line that's still trying to rotate tonight as it comes on through. So that tornado watch, I know Jackson, we're not under a watch. I still think the Storm Prediction Center is going to do something, either put us under a tornado watch or a severe thunderstorm watch for our eastern counties. They have not decided where they're going with that yet. But again, we're still a couple hours out before anything gets into Jackson. So I think by 9 o'clock for sure we're going to find out if they're going to issue a tornado watch or severe thunderstorm watch for us. We're still under a level 3 tonight. Once the storms move east of Jackson, they're predominantly going to be a wind concern. That wind threat goes all the way up into southern Michigan. We're still under a 10% tornado threat. Even if it's not associated with supercells, you can still get spin-up tornadoes along a line. So that's why we're still under the 10% tornado chance tonight, which roughly means if you're in a county in West Tennessee, you have a 10% chance of a tornado touching down for some of the larger counties. So that's kind of what that means when you see those 5 and 10%. The hail threat is pretty much west of Madison County, so I think the hail threat's going to come to an end here in the next hour or two before the 10 o'clock time frame comes around, at least for the tennis ball size hail we're seeing. So here's the futurecast. It's got 9 o'clock coming into Trenton, Alamo, 10 o'clock into Jackson, 11 o'clock Lexington, Henderson, Bolivar, and then midnight to 1 a.m. coming through Savannah. We're going to have another update here at about 10 o'clock at the top of the hour. We're going to do an update on on ABC. And if we get any tornado warnings that move into West Tennessee as well, into our counties, we're going to cover them live in the entirety. But thanks for joining us right now on our Facebook Live and our YouTube channel on WBBJ. Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here just with a quick update at the top of the hour. We have severe thunderstorm warnings now here in West Tennessee. We have a tornado confirmed still on the ground west of the Mississippi River, but we're most likely going to see straight line winds with the majority of these storms tonight. But the southern area in the line is still trying to rotate. That's down here south of Jonesboro. That could be a problem maybe for us later into Madison County. The two biggest storms are along the southern section of the line. We do have some hail south of Paducah, some hail still continuing, looks like southwest of Blytheville, west of Covington. So these are the two storms we need to keep the closest eye on. But a quick update up north, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Gibson County now, Obion, Weekly Lake. I'm not seeing anything that looks too bad in there, maybe 40, maybe 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, but still some very heavy rain. And I really don't see much for hail in this through Ridgely, Hornbeak. So we'll keep an eye on it. I don't think that northern storm is going to be a major issue, but it will be loud. There'll be plenty of thunder, lightning, heavy rain, and maybe some small hail. This looks like all straight line winds. We're looking for maybe a small little kink here southwest of Ridgely, but right now definitely nothing to be too concerned about. Big Lake looks like a little bit of rotation maybe there, but this again looks like hail. That's around Leachville. This went through Jonesboro. It was an ugly storm, but here's our worst one down south here. This is probably tennis ball size hail, plus there's a tornado confirmed. There's a storm spotter on it south of Harrisburg. So if it continues the same general direction, it could be a problem for Madison County. So you're looking here about 95 miles an hour. It's moving about 40 miles an hour. That's a little over 2 hours. So it'll be a little after 10 o'clock when it shows up here, maybe a little earlier for Crockett, Gibson County. We'll leave you with a look at the timing of this line. If you want more weather reports, every 15 minutes we're doing an update on our WBBJ News Storm Team page as well. It's a Facebook Live, plus more on our YouTube channel. Any tornado warnings in West Tennessee, we'll break in live and cover them full.
Welcome in, West Tennessee. Meteorologist Jordan Hubbard here. Still under a tornado watch until 11 o'clock tonight. We haven't heard anything about an extension of west of Madison County, or east of Madison County rather. We still have a level 3 out for West Tennessee. They have started to trim it from the west, but here's a look at some things going on. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for Obion, Gibson, Weakley, and Dyer counties. This northern part of the line is moving much faster than the southern half. This part, the northern half of this line is moving east at 60 miles per hour. We'll give you a track on that. That's going to put it at the Tennessee River within an hour. So Dyersburg at 8:13, Martin 8:19, Rutherford at 8:24, Dresden 8:30. It's going to put it in Trenton at 8:41, Christmasville at 8:44, McKenzie 8:48. Milan at 8:57, Huntingdon at 9:03, and Carlisle at 9:12. Now we're going to take a look at the southern half of this line, which has one severe thunderstorm warning on it, but two, it also has a tornado warning attached to it on the southern end of it. Now the tornado warning was confirmed a couple of scans ago. Now not so much. Still, it's been downgraded to radar indicated rotation, but we're keeping a very close eye on that. We've got a track on it on the whole line. Oh no, we don't, not yet. But this is the current instability. As you can see, right across the river here, instability has dropped down to near, low enough that it's not going to be a problem for much longer. But as you can see, still plenty of instability south of I-40. We're going to keep an eye on this as the line moves through West Tennessee. But here's a look at the winds. You can see that cold front starting to get closer and closer. It's right behind the line today. But here's a look at the dew points, and then we'll get into future cast as we get a new model run every hour with this one. The 8 o'clock run, starting to think that there might be some kinks in the line, which are points where we could look at some stronger winds here in West Tennessee, especially right here. This bow is right around Crockett County and Haywood County. I'd be keeping an eye on this little corner of Tipton County, right around the Hatchie River and the county line with Lauderdale County. But as we get into the 10 o'clock hour, it's going to be moving into Madison County, south of Brownsville. It'll be along I-40, but it's going to be moving very quickly on the northern half of this line. As you can see, it's at the Tennessee River at 10 o'clock. But all of these spots where you see pinks and whites, magentas, those are spots where you could see some sizable hail or some very heavy rain. But we're going to get into this for the 11 o'clock scan. Again, looks like the concern area is going to be right along Highway 64, Bolivar, maybe as far west as Somerville. But again, we're going to be keeping an eye on this because it's going to be a very long night. Looking at a little bit of extra convection right around midnight as it moves into Selmer, Savannah, Decatur County as well, right along the Tennessee River. And then it'll start to move on out of West Tennessee by about 1 o'clock. But there's still some chances on the southern side of Hardin County where we can see some heavy rain, maybe some strong winds and some thunder. But we're going to keep an eye on this. Meteorologist Moshe Mel is going to be joining us sometime after midnight to tag team this with us. But we're looking at more of a wind threat now than we were earlier this afternoon. Tornado threat still there, but wind has become the primary threat now that the storms have merged into a line. We're going to give you updates every 15 to 30 minutes here on Facebook, on YouTube, as well as on ABC over the course of the evening. Stay right here. We'll be keeping you covered all night.
Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here. We do have a new update. A tornado watch has now been extended until 3 a.m. It does include all of West Tennessee, even some sections into Middle Tennessee, although I still think the line will be moving on out during 3 a.m. across the Tennessee River, probably still coming through Jackson around 10. Looks like most likely straight line winds for the majority of these storms tonight, but there has been some rotation still in some of the southern line and still a chance for a couple of spin-up tornadoes. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings out now. They do include western Crockett County, western Haywood County, and we still do have a tornado warning for one storm that we're watching. We'll show you that coming up. But here's the line. You notice up north here, it's not as intense as it is down south. So here's our section most concerning for some possible rotation. They had, I've seen pictures of larger than golf ball size hail down into eastern Arkansas as that storm line gets a little closer. Not a lot of rotation up north here that I'm seeing. This just looks like some gusty winds, but there still could be a quick spin up or two. Again, we're still watching the line as it comes through. There's still a little bit of enough shear in the atmosphere to produce a spin up tornado or two. But up north here, I don't even see any hail. Just looks like some pretty heavy rain into the Dyersburg area. But down south, here's where we're watching. This looks like straight line winds just coming into Maury City right now, Friendship, and this looks pretty gusty heading into Covington. But there's the Mississippi River. Here's our strongest storm right now. It's sitting right here near Mark Tree. That looks like at least golf ball size hail continuing there as it's getting closer. A little bit of rotation, still not enough, and there's a storm spotter on that, so we don't think that's a confirmed tornado. But it is going to continue to track off to the east. We've got new development down to the south, so we're not done yet. We've still got more chances for some of these supercell type storms to come on by. Here's a look at the timing of this line. If we have any tornado warnings here in West Tennessee, we'll break in and cover them live. If not, we'll continue to do live updates on our Facebook and potential updates on TV. Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here. It's 8:45. We do have a new tornado watch that has been issued that does include all of West Tennessee, even sections of Middle Tennessee. Although there's only one tornado warning tonight, there's still a chance for a couple of spin-ups along this line that's coming by, especially along the southern section of the line. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings just west of Madison County. But as far as right now, there are no tornadoes on the ground, but our most dangerous storm is west of Covington. We'll show you that on the radar here coming up. A lot of lightning. This is an explosion of a storm here that looks like it's north of Dyersburg. It's going to be very loud here in Trenton. Looks like there could be a little bit of a break between the Trenton line and the southern line. May bring a little bit of relief for you in southern Gibson County, but we'll see. Closer look at that. You do see that there's a hail core that we're watching. Between Dyersburg and Martin, there's some large hail north of Covington, and then the ugliest storm is down there near Mark Tree. So as far as the rotation, not seeing any rotation up here north. That's good. Little bit of concern maybe down here south of Gates, and then we still got our tornado warned storm there west of Golden Lake. This, what you see here, this is elevated. This is behind the main line, so this is any rotation here that you're seeing on the radar is too far up, I think, to be a tornado concern, but we'll keep an eye on that. There is some pretty heavy rain, and look at the hail core right now showing up south of Mason Hall. This is probably up to quarter-size hail, a couple miles south of Mason Hall. This is all just heavy rain in and around Dyersburg and New Bern. This is pretty strong winds, though, showing up that we are seeing extending over through Greenfield, Dyer. There could be some 50, 60 mile an hour wind gusts there heading into northern Gibson County. And this is a little interesting part of the storm as well near Ripley. We're watching for some potential development. There's also some large hail in and around Ripley and Arp. That's going to move off to the east. Looks like that'll be heading over into Nutbush. You may be getting impacted by that. And here's our ugliest storm. It's not in West Tennessee right now, but it's very close. It's about 10 miles west of the Mississippi. Still some rotation there. This is our one little tornado warning that is out for radar indicated rotation. So we are watching a couple more new ones, though, trying to go up even to the southwest of that near Cotton Plant. So we're not done yet. The tornado watch is out until 3 a.m. We may see the storm still 2 to 3 a.m. before they move out of Hardin County tonight. So that'll be our last section dealing with those storms. Jackson, it looks like 9:45, 10 o'clock is when the leading edge will approach us. Probably going to be during the 10 o'clock hour when the worst of it does come through the hub city. A little bit earlier up north, maybe a little bit later if you're Henderson down to the south. So here's our main line. We had a bunch of individual cells earlier, but they've now turned into a line. Linear is better than individual cells for tornadoes. If you do get a tornado that spins up in a linear line, it's usually weaker, usually short-lived. But that doesn't mean there won't be one, as we still got a lot of shear tonight and some instability as this line comes on by. But again, that tornado watch now extended all the way, include Middle Tennessee, including Nashville. We're still under a level 3 tonight. There was a slight adjustment made to the wind threat. It does now include areas as far west as Covington, Martin, and Milan for those strong winds. Earlier kind of sliced us right down the middle here in Jackson. The tornado threat is still 10% for a spin up along that line tonight. Does include all of West Tennessee. Black hashtag mark still means there could be a strong tornado or two. And the main hail threat looks like it's going to be southwest of Jackson, according to the Storm Prediction Center. Here's their main concern for some large hail to develop a little bit later tonight. All right, before we go, here's a quick look at the latest futurecast showing the timing coming through Jackson around 10:30, 11 o'clock with the worst of it pushing through Selmer around 1, 2 a.m. through Savannah before it clears on out around 3. We're going to have obviously live coverage if we get any tornado warnings issued. We'll cover them live in their entirety on our Facebook Live, plus on our YouTube channel, plus on TV. In the meantime, we'll continue our updates every 15 minutes here on Facebook and YouTube. Plus, again, we'll have an update coming up soon on ABC as well. But keep it here on WBBJ. Me and Jordan are watching things very closely tonight. Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here. We are under a tornado watch. No tornado warnings, but there are some loud, severe thunderstorms right now that are producing a ton of lightning, also some gusty winds, and there's a couple of small hail makers, but no tornado warnings here. There is a tornado warning for a cell just east of Paris Landing, but that's moving away from us. But this is a pretty loud line. It's going to be moving into the Jackson area really loud. If you look off to the west, there is a lightning show showing up, and it's about 20 to 30 minutes out before it moves into the hub city. So there's our big hail maker. That's near Millington. None of this up north is producing much for hail right now. There was a couple of small little pockets of hail. Here's a look at the wind. I don't see anything showing up, any chance of a tornado really with anything up north. Maybe still here. We got this little kink in a line that we're going to watch. Doesn't look too concerning right now. And our biggest storm is down here just north of Shelby County. This is some elevated rotation. We're watching it, but it's not really in the right spot to produce a tornado. I know it looks scary. We talk about the reds and the greens, but it's just not on the side of the storm, I think, that is going to produce a tornado, but we're going to watch it. That's another area near Greenfield we need to keep a close eye on. Here's our big severe thunderstorm warning. Had 1,200 lightning strikes earlier. A lot of lightning is going to be heading into McKenzie right now, staying just north of Trenton. We did have some pretty decent hail a few scans ago near China Grove. That's wrapped up right now. We do have some gusty winds, maybe a little bit of concern there north of Brownsville. We're watching that for a potential spin up. And it looks like we had some pretty large hail here near the Fork of Deer River, or the Fork of Deer area south of Elmore. Here's our biggest storm. This is up to golf ball size hail continuing down to the south to the west of the Mississippi. Still a little bit of rotation there. So we're watching this whole area. We do have one supercell left. That's that one near Cotton Plant. That's still at least an hour away though. The rest of this is along this linear line. So here's a look at the timing of this line that's going to come through. We're going to head back to regular programming on TV, but if you want more storm coverage right now, we're going to spend the next 5-10 minutes or so on our Facebook Live. It's WBBJ. Go to our news page. There's a link there. You can watch our Facebook Live coverage if you want to continue to watch that, or you can also go to our YouTube channel, WBBJ. But right now we're going to head back to regular TV, but we'll continue this on Facebook. All right, for those of you that are sticking around watching us on Facebook Live, we're going to continue our storm coverage for a little bit as this line begins to move into our area. Again, there's a couple little kinks that we are going to watch for a potential tornado. If there is a tornado warning issued in West Tennessee, we'll break in live on TV, but in the meantime, we'll just spend some time here covering this on our Facebook Live. So here's our big line of storms that are beginning to move on through. There's still some hail concerns tonight. There's one little supercell we're watching. That one could try to produce a tornado a little bit later as well. Looks like that's going to be awful close to Memphis. But here's the big picture. We've got some tornado warnings to the east of West Tennessee, but all these little orange boxes you're seeing, these are severe thunderstorm warnings. We're under a level 3 still tonight. There's still a chance for some gusty winds. Can't rule out a spin-up tornado tonight as well. That's a 45% chance of dealing with severe thunderstorm winds, and that does include most of us tonight. So we're still expecting some windy storms, tons of lightning. There's still plenty of energy and still some shear and still a 10% chance for a tornado tonight. That doesn't mean that everyone's going to see a tornado. That just means that everyone probably has about a 10% chance of, I'd say right now, probably your county being put under a tornado warning. The main concern for hail is just to the southwest of us tonight. That's where they're still expecting some up to golf ball or larger hail. But we still got some hail pockets here in West Tennessee. So here's a look at the timing of the line. 10, 11 o'clock, moving through Jackson, sliding down to the southeast, Henderson, down through Savannah, should clear on out by 3 a.m. I'm going to re-rack the radar here, and let's take another radar tour. Meteorologist Jordan Hubbard is with me as well. We're watching things. We're going to have a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in any minute right now for the Jackson area. So we're going to stay live on Facebook for at least the next 15 minutes or so, getting people updated on everything that's coming on through as these storms do begin to move more into our highly populated areas. But we're still, again, expecting just gusty winds to be the main threat. So there's our new severe thunderstorm warning right there in Jackson right now. That does include pretty much, it looks like almost all of Madison County is under that warning. Sections of Henderson County as well as Chester County is under that. And it looks like it may include areas as far north as Humboldt. But here's our situation. We've got multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. There's one tornado warning off to the east, but look at the lightning strikes here in West Tennessee. over 1,600 strikes in the last 10 minutes. So these are very loud storms as they're coming on by. There's our main concern for hail. That's in the southern storm. That doesn't mean we won't get a little bit of hail pocketing up here, it looks like, into Carroll County, maybe northern Gibson County. But a lot of this is just going to be gusty winds as it comes through. We're still watching a couple little areas for some potential spin-ups for if a tornado does try to spark up. We're watching things closely. The National Weather Service in Memphis is watching things very closely. So just know we got a lot of people watching things tonight. So anything that does spin up, potential tornado, we'll get a tornado warning issued. Again, this is a lot of broad upper level rotation that we're watching here. I don't think this is in the right spot of rotation for a tornado to develop, but we're going to watch that up north near Bradford. I know the folks in Bradford have probably had a rough one so far this season. You're getting a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, maybe some small hail. I don't see a tornado threat right now for you folks in Bradford, but it is going to be pretty rough for the next 30 minutes. So just a heads up on that. There is some hail here north of Brewston, south of Springville, but that looks like it's moving out of Carroll County. It looks like it'll be over into Benton County pretty soon. Not sure what happened there with all those severe thunderstorm warnings that did pop up, but if you're watching us in Sharon and Greenfield, it's pretty bad. So I'm going to step off here, and we are going to go back on our coverage here on television as well. So the guys in my ear, just let me know when we are going to start that. And if you're watching us on Facebook Live, you can continue to do that too. All right, Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning out for Jackson as well as pretty much all of Madison County. It's for gusty winds. There is a tornado warning, but it's away from our viewing area, moving away from us. But I know a lot of people's phones are going off, severe thunderstorm warning. What's going on? Well, we're going to update you right now. We do have several severe thunderstorm warnings, but you notice the only red box, the only tornado warning well off to the east. This is a loud line of storms. You notice the lightning strikes. They are very high. And here's our new severe thunderstorm warning. Here in the next 15 minutes, it's going to get pretty loud in Jackson. The really large hail, that's right here, sitting southwest of Covington into the Millington area. It's going to go real close to the National Weather Service radar. I don't see really any hail coming into Jackson. If it is, it's small. I don't see any hail into Gibson, Carroll County. If it is, it's small. Now that looks like some hail to the northwest of Camden, but that's going to be out of our viewing area here pretty soon as well. So let's give you a quick radar tour. There is a little bit of rotation. I just don't think it's in the right spot to produce a tornado that we're watching near McKinsey. In Jackson, we're watching this line very closely. You see that north of Brownsville. We're starting to see a couple of colors show up there, a little bit of green. So that may be something we need to keep a close eye on. This up north here, I don't think is, again, in the right spot to produce a tornado, but that's also a little concerning. We're watching that near McKinsey. We'll go back a couple of scans there. That may be something that we need to keep a close eye on in McKinsey, Henry. But this new little area of concern we're watching looks like just to the west of Bells. We'll take this back a couple of radar scans. That may be something we need to keep an eye on. We'll got a couple different velocity products that we can look at. So you see where those colors are, a little bit of a spin-up concern maybe into Bells. Not enough that I'm saying you need to go be in your safe spot right now in Bells, but it may spin up, and it looks like it could. If it does, it looks like it'll track just south of Humboldt, maybe into the three-way area. So that's probably the most concerning thing to watch right now. Again, I'm not saying tornado, run immediately, get in your safe spot, but we're going to watch that little area there as it moves off to the east, probably stays south of Humboldt. And again, there's no guarantee it's even going to get a tornado warning or produce a tornado, but there is some rotation there near the Bells area. Up north here, again, this is just very heavy rain. I know you folks have had some rough ones in Bradford this year. I don't see a tornado there, but very heavy rain, a lot of thunder, and a lot of lightning coming in to the Bradford area. If you're watching us now over into Kenton, Rutherford, I think your severe thunderstorm threat is over. We do still have this line, though, which is coming on in. So some very gusty winds. Again, there's our little area of concern west of Bells. Probably getting 30, 40-mile-an-hour winds. Humboldt, you are under that severe thunderstorm warning as well, but it does include pretty much all of Madison County. So, again, we've got our little area there. We'll watch it. There was some hail showing up earlier up north here, but currently not seeing any of that at the moment. But look at these hail clusters down south into Drummonds. It looks like south of Golden Lake. And some of this hail now extending, looks like into Covington. So it looks like there's some hail coming in right now into the Covington area as well. And that hail line, you notice it extends all the way over into Mississippi. Little bit of rotation near Golden Lake. I don't think that's a big deal. But again, we've got our 3 different severe thunderstorm warnings that we are watching tonight. And then this is an interesting one as well. This is our only supercell that we're keeping an eye on. That's its own. You see how it's its own storm. It's close to the line, but right now it's kind of got its own environment near Forest City. This is going to eventually be heading over into Memphis. This one could try to produce a tornado. I'm not seeing a lot on the velocity right now with it, but there's probably tennis ball size hail with that one as it's beginning to move right over the interstate right now. So here's our line that we have coming on by tonight. You notice the several severe thunderstorm warnings. Those are the orange polygons. The red one's a tornado warning. So we've got several different cells. They're lining up. If you're watching us in Jackson, you probably got about 10, 15 minutes till things start to get real loud. The tornado watch does extend from west of Memphis. Again, continues all the way up north now into Kentucky tonight. So we're still under that level 3 for severe weather. Still have a chance for not only, again, some gusty winds tonight, but can't rule out a tornado. We're going to show you the timeline one more time before we head back to regular programming on TV. We do have that damaging wind threat tonight, which is a 45% chance of having severe thunderstorm type winds. We also have a tornado concern. That's 10% for tonight. That also includes all of West Tennessee. The black hashtag marks is where there is a chance for a strong tornado if one does develop. And then we'd also have our hail threat, which is most likely going to stay to the south of Memphis tonight, but we've seen some hail makers here in West Tennessee too. So here's a look at the timeline. After 11 o'clock, it'll start to move south of Jackson through Henderson, Bolivar. Looks like it'll be between midnight and 1 a.m. coming through Savannah. There still could be some lingering action between 2 and 3, but I think most of it clears on out by then. I'm going to sit down here at the Weather Center and just kind of take a quick radar tour with myself and you at home that's watching everything here. So let's just kind of get a deep dive into here with what we see. We'll kind of get to a few communities here for the next couple minutes. We're going to head back to regular programming here in about 2 minutes on TV. So we do kind of want to go over things. So we've got some hail, it looks like, northeast of Brewston. If you're watching us in Huntington, looks like you've got some pretty intense rain coming through. The heaviest rain up into Gibson County's Bradford, and then we've also got some heavy rain into southern Weakley County up through Gleason, McKenzie. Now, the main hail concern for us is coming on in with this little cell we see approaching the Bells area. You notice that's starting to produce a little hail. That could be the one that comes into Jackson. If you're watching us in Jackson, I would say get your car in the garage if you can, just in case we get a hail maker that comes through. You notice there are still several more pockets of hail showing up down into Lauderdale, Tipton, that are heading into Haywood County potentially here soon. So there's kind of the general direction of the line as it's coming by. Again, a lot of lightning. We've got our little supercell down here. Let's go ahead and pull up the velocity on our supercell. Again, it's a little bit further away from the radar, but I'm not seeing much for rotation there. Let's kind of ride our line here for rotation. Meteorologist Jordan Hubbard's also with me. Jordan, is the National Weather Service saying anything about that little small area of rotation near Bells? Are they concerned about that between Bells and Alamo at all?
They have not. They are drawing up a new severe thunderstorm warning for Benton County. It just populated in our system. We'll get the wording on that real quick. That is going to be for 60 miles per hour wind and 1-inch diameter hail. That's quarter size. But in terms of rotation, my biggest concern is actually going to be this little cell. It's tightened up over the last few scans just to the northwest of McKenzie. That's where my eyes have been locked the past several minutes.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing that one too. So we got the area of rotation near McKenzie. That looks like it could, if it continues to spin up, it could impact northern Carroll County, southern Henry County, and we've got, again, our area that we're watching south of Bells. We're going to head back to regular programming on TV. If any of these do become tornado warnings, we'll break back on in. If not, our live coverage continues right now on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Go to WBBJ Facebook News, and we'll continue to cover these storms online. But right now, we'll head back to regular programming on TV. All right, we're back up here on Facebook Live. Are we on Max 1 or Max 2? All right, it looks like we're on Max 2. If we want to head back over to Max 1 here, meteorologist Jordan Hubbard is working on some stuff. I'm also working on resetting these graphics just in case we have to head back and go live on TV if we do get a tornado warning as this line comes by. If you're watching us in Jackson, looks like there's a little bit of rotation west of Jackson, plus there looks like there could be some hail on the way as well. So definitely something you need to be concerned about. We're watching this area of rotation up north here near McKinsey. Really haven't heard much from the National Weather Service, so I'm not sure they're super concerned about that, but it definitely, to me, looks like it's something that we need to be watching pretty closely over the next few minutes or so. There's also some hail showing up. Looks like in between Gleason and McKinsey with that little system. Down south here, we've got our severe thunderstorm warnings are out for Gibson, Carroll, Madison, Henderson County now is under that the same warning that we are here in Jackson. There's a lot of lightning with this storm, about 700 lightning strikes or so. There is, if you're watching us again, Gibson County, it looks like the worst of it is past Trenton. Humboldt, it's going to be close. This storm's coming on by for you, so your winds are going to kick up, I think, here in the next few minutes or so out of Humboldt. So let's check out that rotation we were looking at near Bells. Again, it definitely does not look like there's a tornado on the ground, but definitely a little bit of rotation between Alamo and Bells. That's something else we'll be watching. If it continues the same general direction, I think it's going to pass close to Gadsden, probably south of Humboldt, south of Medina. Again, I'm not saying that it's going to produce a tornado, but there is a little bit of rotation there. Kind of take a couple different looks at it on radar images. I'm going to go ahead and put it in a 30-minute loop here. So you can kind of see it was a little brighter a little bit earlier, but a little bit of rotation there. So that's something that we have to keep a close eye on. The biggest storms are actually still sitting to the southwest of us. But that looks like hail coming into Allens, Jones, Bells. It'll be coming into Adair, Huntersville. We continue to keep that pattern going. That's the area that's coming into Jackson. So it's probably, again, about 10, 15 minutes out until it starts to rain heavy in Jackson. Our biggest hail right now is showing up in Covington as well as Drummonds. But that area, as far as rotation, looks pretty minimal. Looks like we've got a brand new radar scan coming in for that area. So again, I'm not really seeing much of rotation there. That just looks like some hail coming on in. So that's some good news there. Obviously, we don't want to see any of the rotation showing up. So, all right, we've got our severe thunderstorm warning out for Huntington as well and McKinsey, and then a third one now, which does include Tipton and Lauderdale counties. So kind of put this in a little bit of loop here over the last hour. Again, most of this looks like straight line winds. A storm that may try to do something else is this south supercell. Look at that hail. I bet you that's tennis ball size near the Goodwin area, northeast of Wheatley. So that's pretty ugly. But that's our only supercell. The rest of the stuff is kind of embedded in a line. So the supercells typically have a better chance of producing a tornado or really large hail because they can kind of create their own storm environment and don't have to fight for storm energy. So that's what we've got with that. But as far as rotation, it looks pretty minimal. So that's probably just going to be a hail maker as it comes on by. But there's our big line. Let's go ahead and give you a new kind of timing on this as it tracks down to the southeast for some communities that haven't been impacted by it yet. So kind of give you an idea of for Parsons, Lexington, Jackson here coming up in the next 10, 15 minutes. Savannah maybe close to 11:30 is when you could be impacted by this storm as that line kind of extends down to the southwest. So why don't we go ahead and go over to Max 2 for a minute and let's get you some updates from meteorologist Jordan Hubbard on what he's seeing. And sometimes it helps to get multiple meteorologists break down when they're looking at stuff. So go ahead, Jordan. Your Max 2's pulled up.
Yeah, again, the good news is I've been watching the scan by scan in McKinsey, and the last scan, as you can see, rotation fairly tight just to the west-northwest of McKenzie, but the newest scan has fizzled it out. Again, that's severe thunderstorm warning, and the one immediately to its east that includes portions of southeastern Henry County, eastern Carroll County, and all of Benton County has a tornado possible tag on it. So these storms have more capability of rotation than some of these other storms we're keeping an eye on. We're also keeping an eye on some rotation potentially between Alamo and Bells. It's, again, not super convincing, but it's worth keeping an eye on over the last few scans. We're not looking at a whole lot of upward trends in velocity, which is always a good thing. Another area we see maybe some broader rotation just to the east of Covington, but that's actually just new from this scan alone. It's been fairly quiet on that front, but we're still keeping an eye on things very closely as several of these storms have the potential to produce rotation, and they're just not producing enough rotation to get tornado warnings from Memphis at this time.
All right, thanks, Jordan. We're going to go ahead and go through this here one more time on Max 1, and then we'll take a little bit of a break, kind of reorganize ourselves here for a few minutes, unless things get worse in the next few minutes, and then we'll stay on. We still do have severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, they pretty much run along I-40. One tornado warning is east of the Kentucky Lake area. But everywhere where you see these shaded areas, these boxes, these are severe thunderstorm warnings. We may stick around a little bit, actually, as this storm does come into Jackson, because it looks like, again, there is just a lot of lightning, and it looks like maybe with the hail beginning to uptick some in Jackson. So I think we'll stay on Facebook Live here until this line moves across the interstate. Jordan and I will just continue to do that. We may be breaking into TV as well. All right, so at 9:38, we'll be going on TV. That's 7 minutes. So we'll stick around through that. So we'll stick around for now, and then when we go into our television coverage. But again, looks like a lot of straight line winds, a couple areas of rotation. The one near Bells, another one up here. Looks like now moving into southwestern Henry County. That's that near McKenzie, but it's very broad. Looks like a lot of mid to upper level rotation. That's why there's no tornado warning issued on it. But there is some hail in and around McKenzie. You're probably getting pea to marble size hail in some locations there. Jackson, we may have some small hail coming on in. It doesn't look like large hail, but that looks like a little bit of hail northeast of Brownsville. You notice how close it is getting to Jackson. A little bit of rotation clusters right here. So we're going to watch this. Doesn't look any worse now than it did a couple of scans ago. But you'll notice when it was south of Maury City, looked like it was rotating a little bit more. Now it's beginning to kind of lose some of its interesting characteristics to me. But we'll continue to keep an eye on it. That's good news. We didn't want to see that beginning to look any worse. Bad news is that's some pretty large hail, at least quarter size, coming into Fruitvale. That's coming into Adair, Windy City. Looks like Wellwood picking up some hail. Allen's picking up some hail as well. So we'll watch that. There's some bigger hail, not only in Covington, but southwest of Drummond's there. I don't see much for rotation. A little bit here east of Covington. That's something we'll keep an eye on. Definitely doesn't look like anything too concerning as of now. But again, if you're watching us east of this line, you got a car that you don't want to get hail damage, you may just want to bring it in the garage if you can, or put it under a carport. You don't want to head out if it's already happening, but if you're to the east of this line, because there has been some, I've seen pictures of up to tennis ball size hail in Market Tree area from some of these storms. That's probably producing tennis ball size hail over near Forest City. That's right along Highway 40. Here's our little supercell. It's one storm. It's not that little, but one storm that's not connected with the main line, which the main line is extending here over through Millington, going all the way up off to the northeast. So here's kind of a timing of when these storms will be coming on into your area. Bolivar, Parsons, Lexington, Jackson. It looks like 9:37 is the target range, so that's about 5 minutes when it'll start to see the rain showing up, and then it'll get worse by the top of the hour. But a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings. You can line them up. Each one of these polygons severe. None of them are tornado warnings. There is one tornado warning, though, east of the Kentucky Lake area, and that tornado watch, that's the shaded yellow area. That does include some locations in East Arkansas, as well as all of West Tennessee, still under that tornado watch. But I think if you're behind this line, if you're watching us into this area northwest of Gibson County, I think your tornado threat is pretty much done. We're still under, again, a level 3 tonight. If you're wondering what that means, enhanced risk of severe weather. By the way, next Wednesday, almost certainty some of us are going to be under a level 4. Wednesday's event looks scarier than this one, unfortunately. This is some big thunderstorms tonight. Wednesday looks like a level 4. I would not be shocked if somebody was put under a level 5 on Wednesday, okay? We haven't had a 5 in a long time, so it may not be us in West Tennessee, but Wednesday's situation looks real rough. But we got to get through tonight first. We're under that 10% chance for a tornado tonight. And then the hail threat is predominantly down to the southwest of us. That's Greenville, Shreveport into Louisiana. So here's a look at the timing. Running along the interstate here, 11 o'clock down through Henderson, midnight, 1 a.m. through Savannah before it clears out. Well, I'm going to restack my graphics. We're going to go on TV here in a couple of minutes. Let's go back over to Jordan so he can kind of take control over our Facebook Live for a couple minutes while I get ready for our TV hit. Go ahead, Jordan.
All right, so good news. Lake County, you've been cleared from the watch if you're watching us on Facebook. I know we probably don't get carried to you on TV, but Lake County, you're done for the night. We're keeping an eye on the storm in St. Francis County, Arkansas. That is the lone supercell near Forest City. Again, it does have, I think just about every severe thunderstorm warning in our area right now has that tornado possible tag on it. So we're keeping a close eye on a lot of these areas of rotation, but I'm beginning to see maybe a straight line wind between McKenzie and Huntington moving east towards Brewston, Ephesus, the Benton County line, maybe eventually Bain. Highway 641 is going to track along Highway 70 for the next several minutes. Again, we're looking at potentially 60-mile-per-hour winds and up to quarter-size hail. That's for most of these storms. And again, rotation in Crockett County not looking as great either. We'll pull up reflectivity. And again, there's a little bit of a kink there just to the east of the Crockett-Madison County line.
Hey, Jordan, why don't you pop up your velocity and take a look at Cotton Lake just west of Brownsville.
Cotton Lake.
Yeah, if you head over.
Okay, yes.
So if you go back a couple of scans, just roll back, it really tightened up over the last few minutes.
Yes, it has. We're going to keep a sharp eye on that one. I'm going to see, Memphis hasn't said anything about extending that severe thunderstorm warning or putting a tag on it, but we can actually see what the current wording is. This is on the leading edge of that warning, and it's popping up velocity. So we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way and go find the actual warning in weather chat, but we don't really have the time for that. But again, that rotation has tightened up. It is a little on the broader side, but again, it's going to be one of those nights where anything that spins, that Memphis has said earlier today, they're going to be quick to pull the trigger on any warnings just because of the nature of the setup today. We're keeping an eye on that. But again, I think the Huntington, you may be getting some straight line winds right now, but yes, the main concern right now we're going to keep a sharp eye on is this rotation near the Tipton-Haywood County line.
All right, we're going to be heading back onto live TV now here in about 20 seconds. So we'll stay on our Facebook Live, but if you are watching us on your phone and want to see a bigger television coverage, go ahead and turn over to ABC right now. I'm going to be quiet till we start now on TV. Chief Meteorologist Joel Barnes here just with a quick update. The wind's beginning to kick up here in the Jackson area as this line gets a little closer. The storms will start in the next few minutes. I can really hear the winds whipping around here at WBBJ. We are under a severe thunderstorm warning here in Jackson. There has just been explosive amounts of lightning associated with this storm as it comes on by tonight. There's hail clusters. It looks like one coming into Jackson. We're starting to see hail splitting up. If you are in Jackson, it's probably too late, but hopefully you got your car in the garage or under the carport because it looks like some hail is knocking on the door. As far as the winds, I'm not seeing anything that screams tornado right now. There's some rotation up north here in and around McKenzie. This is awful broad. I don't think this is going to tighten up and produce a tornado right now in Huntington, although you do see the reds and the greens. That's concerning. It's just not exactly tight enough for where we want to see it. There's also hail north of Huntington into northern Carroll County. Watching that. And here's our cell coming into Jackson. Our severe thunderstorm warning's out until 10 p.m. And you notice very close. Here comes the winds. Here comes the rain. There's some broad rotation. We were watching up north there. A new area of rotations just kind of sparked up here near Cotton Lake. So two different pockets of rotation. We had that one near Bells that we were concerned about when you saw me last. That's really lost a lot of its categoristic rotation. So I like that. There's a new little area popping up near Brownsville. for some potential rotation. That's just southwest of Brownsville, so we're going to watch that too. But here's the hail. Look at this, Gadsden down through Wellwood, Huntersville. Jackson's right here. So this hail is on the way. Again, probably up to quarter-size hail is possible in these little hail clusters as they're going to slide by. We've also got some hail concerns down near Tabernacle, some hail north of Millington also is expected to come on through. So we've still got some hail concerns tonight down south. Still got several severe thunderstorm warnings that are tracking on through. As far as our one lone supercell, that's this guy we're watching. This one is producing some very large hail. Not seeing any signs of tornadic activity with this one, but definitely a pretty intense storm as it's coming on through. Here's a look at the timing of some communities where it could be showing up into your area. Again, Jackson coming up in the next 5-10 minutes. We've got Bolivar, we've got Parsons in on this. We'll be moving into Henderson and then tracking down to the southeast. If you're north of this line, Martin, Dyersburg, Tiptonville, Trenton, your severe weather threats over Humboldt, you're kind of right on the edge. I think yours will be done here in the next 10 minutes or so. But if you're southeast of this line, which includes Memphis, Jackson, Savannah, we've still got a couple more hours of dealing with these pretty intense storms as they come on by tonight. That tornado watch remains in effect till 3 a.m. for us. They have pulled Lake County. That's the only county that's been pulled out of the watch here in West Tennessee. So again, we're going to continue to keep an eye on all these storms as they do come through. Although again, as far as the Jackson area, it looks like we've got some hail on the way. So I do want to come back to the Jackson concern. So there's the hail. You notice it really picked up in the last few scans just south of Humboldt. So we've got hail in Gadsden coming into Windy City, Three-Way, Adair, Gilmore, Carroll, Jackson, Westover, Huntersville, and Wellwood. So we've got almost looks like a boomerang of hail on the way. So we'll go back a few scans. You notice that will be on the way to central and eastern Madison County coming in here in the next few minutes. We've also got some hail we're watching down near Stanton, but we'll continue to watch it. Again, not seeing anything that's showing any significant rotation for tornadoes, but definitely have some hail and some strong winds. Could be gusting up to 60 miles an hour on the way coming on in here into Jackson. We'll have another update here on TV coming up soon. Tornado warning, we'll break in, cover it live. Going to take a couple-minute break, re-rack our graphics, and we'll be live on our Facebook Live and our YouTube channel as well. Go to WBBJ for both of those. But if you're watching us on ABC, we're going to head back to regular programming right now. Mic check, Joel. All right, are we up? Yeah, you're up. All right, heads up, Jackson. We've got some big hail on the way. We've got our newscast coming up tonight at 10 in about 14 minutes, but I'm going to stick around here for a couple more minutes as this hail looks like it's really going to get going. So we've got hail coming into Carroll, Oakfield, Gilmer. North Jackson's getting it. I think almost all of Jackson's going to get some pretty decent hail coming on through from what we're seeing. You notice over the last few scans, the brighter purples are picking up, and that's some pretty large hail. So as far as a tornado concern, not seeing that, but there are definitely some gusty winds coming into Jackson in the next few minutes as well. Along that line, not seeing anything tornadic at this moment. This looks pretty elevated, the rotation heading into Brewston, northeast of Huntington, but it's definitely worth watching. But the big story is the hail. We've got even larger hail in Millington. We don't want to see that pink. That's when you start to get up bigger than golf ball size hail. That's what they're getting there. But there is one pocket of pink that just showed up now south of Huntersville. So we're going to stay on this radar scan here for a minute. As far as the National Weather Service, we're trying to get some reports about the hail. Pea-size hail to golf ball size hail east of Gadsden. That's what was within Crockett County. The weekly Gibson County thunderstorm warning is going to expire on time, which I believe is 10 o'clock. Right, Jordan?
I believe that one was out until 9:45.
Okay, so yeah, that one's gone now. So the
next one will expire at 10:15.
and the Jackson warning's till 10, but that's likely going to be extended downstream. The only thunderstorm warning tag with the tour possible, I think right now that I'm seeing, is do we still have a tour possible on the Jackson warning?
We do.
Okay.
And I believe the Benton County also, Benton County also has.
Okay, so they're leaving the tornado possible with any of these thunderstorms, but again, I think the hail is going to be a big issue here in Jackson. We're about to get hit with some pretty ugly hail coming up here in the next 5-10 minutes or so. It's probably already hailing out at the airport. You notice over in Westboro. So we get kind of closer down to some of the roads here that are getting the hail. Old Humboldt Road, Ashport, Carroll, Hollywood Drive. So it's getting real close to downtown Jackson. That hail goes all the way up into Carroll, south of Young's Crossing. So it'll be coming on in. Ashport Road, Liberty Tech, you're going to get some hail. Lawrence is going to get some hail. We'll see how big, but I bet you there's quarter-size hailstones at least. This could be even larger hail south of Huntersville. So that's going to be heading over, could be riding right along Highway 70 through Westover into South Jackson. So again, we're hearing a lot of thunder and lightning as well. Kind of shrink these guys down here in size. So there was a real big loud one just hit us right at the station. So about 300 lightning strikes.
Do we have any
showing
cameras
up.
that we can use we can show our viewers during the 10 o'clock newscast?
Yeah, so we can show you the lightning show going on right now here in Jackson. Holy cow, there's some pretty loud lightning. So hopefully you weren't trying to go to sleep, because you're not going to be sleeping. I'm seeing crazy lightning strikes on our camera here. I'll show it to you. I'll pull it up. Look at that lightning off in the distance. Just an incredible light show if you look off to the west in Jackson. So the lightning's pretty much nonstop. So it's going to get real loud here over the next 30 minutes as this thunderstorm comes through. Again, no concern for a tornado as of now. Nothing coming in out of the National Weather Service besides hail. We got a brand new severe thunder. Oh, no, it's continued till 10. At 10 o'clock, they will obviously issue this downstream on the for the hail here in Jackson. Reports are only up to marble size hail that I'm seeing so far in North Jackson. So hopefully it's just a lot of small hail and not really large hail. We'd rather have a whole bunch of pea to marble size hail than isolated strikes. You notice the webcam kind of shaking back and forth. Pretty explosive view there of that lightning off in the distance. Well, let's go ahead. I'm going to pull up the radar here, take another look at that hail. The heavy rain coming down right now in Jackson, you can see it, and the hail is beginning to pile up as well. Holy cow, the lightning's pretty intense. South of Huntersville, north of Jackson, all this purple is definitely hail that is going to be coming on in. So I'm going to head back to the camera here. WBBJ is located, we're right here in the zone that should be getting hail here in the next couple of minutes. So we're right there off Forest.
Joel, I'll tell you what, I'll go look outside and see if we're getting hail at the studio right now.
All right. Meteorologist Jordan Hubbard's going to peek outside. Don't go too far out, Jordan. There's a lot of lightning still coming on down. So we're going to get off our Facebook Live here because we've got our newscast coming up here at the top of the hour at 8 minutes. So if you're watching us on Facebook, please go ahead and turn on WBBJ on ABC or CBS, and we will have our full newscast coming up here in about 8 minutes. Obviously, if there's a tornado warning, you'll see us sooner than that. But please stay away from windows, stay inside, keep it on WBBJ. We'll talk to you here soon.